continue with our Theology of the Body Mondays, and now I want to start diving into kind of different subject that has to do with some of the ideology we see today regarding kind of gender. But before I do that, I think it's important to go back some of the foundational principles of theology of the body. It kind of has to do with this. Then I want to expand upon them a little bit regarding kind of Christian anthropology. So you may recall this concept we talked about at the beginning of these episodes, um, this concept of the sacramentality of the body. So our body, well, first, a sacrament is something that makes visible something that's invisible, right? So if you think about baptism, for example, right, it makes visible something that's happening invisibly. So you're washing, right, this child with water, and it's making visible that internal invisible washing that's happening in the soul of the child, and it's actually making happen. So when we think about the word sacrament in general, it's something that makes visible something invisible, right? So when John Paul II talked about the sacramentality of the body, he talked about the fact that the human body makes visible certain invisible realities about the human heart. And one of the things we talked a lot about is this reality that ultimately we're made for union, that we're made for love, and not only here on earth, right, kind of bodily speaking, but actually ultimately points to heaven, right, to the fact that we're made for ultimate union with God in heaven. And again, our physicality, the sacramentality of the body, makes visible that invisible reality, right? So God made our bodies, and so therefore they reflect something about how we're made and who we are and that kind of thing. Now, kind of somewhat related to this, in human thought, there's always been this tension between body and spirit. So some school of thoughts, like if you kind of just read the kind of history of thought, there's been an emphasis maybe on the body, on the physical so much, to the detriment of the spiritual, or the soul. Almost like saying we're only bodies and that's all that matters and we don't have a soul, right? And then on the other hand, there's been sometimes emphasis on the fact of like over spiritual emphasis, saying, oh, we are just our soul, our mind, and our bodies don't really matter. It's just almost as if we were kind of angelic or something like that. We're only spiritual beings. But the Catholic way is the proverbial both and, right? It's not the either or. Like, is just the mind more important than the body, or is the body more important? There's like a both and, right? If you think about Jesus, right, there's this tension. He's both 100% God, 100% man. If you think about the Trinity, he's 100% one God, 100% three divine persons, right? There's this tension of kind of singularity and multiplicity, right? And so same in the Catholic anthropology. The anthropology kind of is a word that kind of is the study of the human person. So when you think about the Christian understanding of the human person, is that we are enfleshed beings. We are our body, and we are our soul, right? Our soul is not something just independent that inhabits the body, but as kind of some philosophers will say, the soul is the principle of unity of the body, which is a little bit hard to explain, right? But the point is that in many parts of the world, there's been now an emphasis on the internal, right? There's a word also used in kind of philosophy for a long time, and it's kind of this tendency towards what's called dualism, right? So this is not a Christian way of understanding the body, which basically says, I am my soul. Like, I am my soul, I am my mind, that's who I am. I am not really my body. I inhabit a body, but my body is not me, right? Almost if you think, I don't know, when I grew up, there's like the Power Rangers, right? And they would go into this robot that had a human shape, and then they would like drive the robot to fight the evil guy, right? But it's like this human person is going into this huge robot that had the shape of some sort of human person, and so he was like the real Power Ranger inside the robot, managing or like driving the big robot. So sometimes we think about our bodies in that way, like I just inhabit this body, that I my real me, my mind, my soul get to move, but my body is not really me, right? That's kind of this idea of dualism, which is it's false, right? If you touch my hand, you're actually touching me, right? But sometimes we think about our bodies, especially with this dualistic kind of the understanding of Christian anthropology, as if it was just an extension of me, like my car, right? My car is an extension of me because it belongs to me and I own it, but it's not really me, right? And so I can do whatever I want with my car. I can repaint it or whatever I want, but it's different. My body is different. It's not like my car. My body is is part of who I am and it's actually me in some ways, right? So you can begin to see how the sacramentality of the body, this understanding of Christian anthropology, of the role that the body plays in who we are, how it's part of who we are, um, that it's not just my inside, begins to kind of affect kind of maybe the underlying um, maybe disagreements or misunderstandings and some of the things that we see today in our culture regarding kind of gender. Let me see if I had a couple more things to say. Yeah, if dualism is true, then yeah, our bodies don't matter much, right? But yeah, very different, the Christian understanding, because we are our bodies as we are our souls, then it has a lot of consequences in our understandings of the dignity of the body and what you can do or can't do, or what's good for your body, what's not good for your body, which we'll continue to unpack next time.